Now, walk us through what happened in those first 5 minutes when you walk into a room with the family and the person that needs help.
Well, the first 5 minutes, I mean, there's a lot of preparation that goes into that first 5 minutes. I mean, we spend hours and we even do sometimes even role playing before we get in front of the person. We're gonna go through, there's 6 steps to an intervention. The first is deciding that you're going to do something, regardless of any pushback that you get from anybody, including the person, and including or other family members. And then there's planning, who's going to be involved, where it's going to be, when it's going to be. And then there's preparation. You're gonna list out all the objections the person's going to have. They're going to throw all kinds of problems at you, the reasons they can't go. I mean, you have to have a solution for all of those things. You have to be prepared for you prepare for the worst and you hope and pray for the best, but you prepare for the worst case. And so when we go in, everybody knows what to do. And it doesn't mean that it has to take a long time to do those things, but um usually, I even plan them out to where we want the person to set, we want the family to set, we want to know who's going to be walking in the door, and I'm usually the last one to walk in. And so the person themselves will usually be, you know, there, and they see the certain folks together, and and a lot of times people are coming in from out of town or whatever, and so they see him and they're like, "Oh, what's going on?" And then they see me, and sometimes people, I just walk in and they're like, they know everybody. And then I'll walk in and I say, "Hi, my name's Bobby. I'm a friend of the family. And just want to let you know that your family loves you very much. And they have a few things they would like to say to you." And then, usually the person is like looking like their mouth is kind of, they're like, then I'll shake their hand and I'll be there. And I say, "Would you give us a few minutes?" And they'll say, and they say yes. And then we set out and we go right into it. And we already have it planned out to where the first person that's going to read, we have prepared letters of letters of love and care. There's no blame. This is not an opportunity to attack a person. We're just basically going to start out sharing very fond memories and kind of what we're noticing, lately, and the fact that what we want for that person. We tell them how good they are. And but we also in the back we've already prepared ourselves for any possible reaction that they're going to have. But we want to overwhelm the person with really positive feeling of that these people really care.
Yeah.
And usually that will disarm the person. But if they do react, we have to be ready for that. If they do react negatively, we have to, they some people, "Oh, well, they're going to get mad. I'm afraid they're going to get mad." Well, though there's a good chance of that, so we have to be ready and we have to be willing to hold our ground. It doesn't mean we're going to attack. We're not there to do anything physical,
Mhm.
but at the same time, we have to be, if we let them push us back and, and don't hold our ground, the, things are just going to get worse. And so we have to be willing to weather the storm and calmly communicate with this person to be able to convince them that, going to, a lot of times people will tell me, "Oh, well, I don't have a drug problem." And it's obvious that they do, but I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I'll say, "Well, how's your life going?" And the person will say, "Oh, my life sucks." "Okay, well, what about your life sucks?" And then it's like, "Oh, they'll tell me." And then it could be a number of things. And I'd say, "Okay, well, if I could help you with that, then would you be interested?" "Yeah." "How are you going to help me with that?" Well, and then we start listing out ways of how we're going to help the person. So, um, you know, and it always boils down to, well, the first thing we got to do is, yeah, we want to solve that problem, but the first thing we got to do is we got to get off these drugs. We can't really do anything if we can't
Totally,
get off the
totally.
drugs. And yeah, I guess you're right. Okay, good. Well, let's do that. And
Mm.
that's, but the first 5 minutes is again well planned, and we walk in and we go right into it. I always tell the family, within 5 to 7 minutes, we're reading our letters to the person. We have them planned out, usually 3 to 4 letters. And my approach is to always have the person who's going to have the most emotional impact on the individual read last. And I've
That
had
makes
some
sense, yeah.
very, very hard cases. One guy who sold cars up in, I think, in Minnesota, and he was a character. He was definitely a character, but very, he's in the car business, and he's very outgoing, very boisterous, and and they just there's no way we're going to control this guy. And so we sit down, and he's got a big family, and we everybody wrote a letter, but only 3 or 4 of them actually read their letters because it could get pretty long, and goes on too long. And we get all the way around to his daughter. He had an 18-year-old daughter, so she was the last one, and she pulls out her letter, and she clears her throat, and he threw his hands up, and said, "Whatever you guys want me to do." I said, "We want you
Wow.
to go to rehab." He said, "Okay," because that girl really meant a lot to him, and he wanted to.
Yeah.
So it was like, "I'm done. Yeah, whatever you guys want." And we went, and it was
Wow.
no problem. And the family was shocked. They were like, "Whoa, we didn't expect that." But it's just preparation.